Have you ever stopped to think about your body as a vast, highly coordinated enterprise? I mean, billions of cells working together, responding to threats, digesting food, growing, sleeping, all in perfect harmony? It's an absolute masterpiece of biological engineering. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking exactly how your body manages this magnificent internal coordination. Okay, let's dive into this. So here's a provocative question to kick things off. How does your body coordinate millions of cells without using a single nerve? We usually think of the neural system, the brain and nerves, as the ultimate boss. But neural coordination, as incredibly fast as it is point to point, and it's over in a flash. Plus, nerve fibers literally do not reach every single cell in your body. Because our cellular functions need continuous, widespread regulation, the body relies on a massive secondary system, our ultimate chemical communication network. Section 1. Meet your chemical messengers. To really get this network, think of your body as having a central command center and a highly specialized fleet deployed all over the place. Historically, scientists used to just call these messengers ductless gland secretions. Kind of vague, right? So the crucial point is the modern scientific definition is way more precise. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals that act as intercellular messengers, and they are produced in mere trace amounts. This is a huge shift because it covers not just the classic glands, but a whole host of new molecules coordinating your physiology.
When we look at the neural system and the endocrine system side by side, the division of labor is super clear. The neural system gives you that rapid, short-lived, lightning-fast reaction. But the endocrine system, it provides widespread, continuous regulation by dumping these trace chemicals directly into your blood. It's the slow and steady system keeping you in a constant state of physiological balance, day in and day out.
Section 2. The brain's command center. Let's move spatially up to the basal part of the diencephalon in the forebrain. This is the home of the ultimate CEO of your body, the hypothalamus.
And this brilliantly illustrates the chain of command. You've got the hypothalamus at the top, and hanging just below it by a stalk, tucked safely into a tiny bony cavity called the sella turcica, is the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus has these amazing neurosecretory cells that produce hormones. It uses a specialized portal circulatory system to dictate orders to the anterior part of the pituitary and direct neural axons to control the posterior part.
Basically, the hypothalamus manages the pituitary using biological gas and brake pedals. It secretes releasing hormones like GnRH, which steps on the gas to stimulate the pituitary to release its own hormones. On the flip side, it uses inhibiting hormones, like somatostatin, to slam on the brakes and stop those secretions. It's a beautifully dynamic push and pull. Once given the green light, the anterior pituitary deploys its field agents. It releases growth hormone, which literally dictates your body size. Too much, and you're looking at gigantism or middle-aged acromegaly. Too little causes dwarfism. It releases prolactin from milk formation. It sends TSH to stimulate your thyroid and ACTH to command your adrenal cortex. It even uses the gonadotrophins, LH and FSH, to regulate your reproductive organs. It's basically the middle manager running the whole show.
But here's a wild biological plot twist. The posterior half of the pituitary, it synthesizes, well, actually, scratch that. It doesn't synthesize any hormones of its own at all. No way, right? It's purely a storage unit for two hormones actually made up in the hypothalamus, oxytocin, which is famous for driving those vigorous uterine contractions during childbirth, and vasopressin, or ADH. ADH tells your kidneys to hold on to water. If your ADH synthesis gets impaired, you lose water rapidly, leading to a condition called diabetes insipidus.
Section 3. Regulators of metabolism and rhythm. We're going to slow the pace down a bit here as we move our anatomical tour lower, out of the brain and down into the neck and chest. First up, two incredibly specialized glands. On the dorsal side of the forebrain is the pineal gland. It secretes melatonin, acting as your internal clock. It regulates your 24-hour diurnal rhythm, your sleep-wake cycles and your body temperature. Then, right behind your sternum is the thymus. It secretes thymosins, which are absolutely crucial for training T lymphocytes for your immune system. Interestingly, the thymus actually shrinks and degenerates as we age, which is exactly why immune responses tend to weaken in older folks.
Moving down just below the jaw, hugging your trachea, is the thyroid gland. It's packed with tiny follicles that absolutely require dietary iodine to work. The thyroid pumps out T3 and T4 hormones, which act as the master dial for your basal metabolic rate. If you don't get enough iodine, the gland swells up, causing a goiter. In pregnant women, this deficiency causes cretinism, severely stunting the baby's growth. On the other end of the spectrum, hyperthyroidism, like Graves' disease, revs the metabolism way too high, causing weight loss and famously protruding eyeballs.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the perfect biological yin and yang happening right there in the neck. Tucked onto the back of the thyroid are 4 tiny parathyroid glands. Together, they manage your blood calcium. The thyroid secretes thyrocalcitonin, or TCT, which actively lowers your blood calcium. In direct opposition, the parathyroid secretes PTH, a hypercalcemic hormone that increases blood calcium by pulling it from your bones and digestive tract. It is a flawless, continuous balancing act.
Section 4. Stress and sugar responders. But hey, biology isn't always perfectly balanced and calm, is it? Sometimes you hit an absolute emergency and things need to move fast. Sitting like little yellow caps right on top of your kidneys are your adrenal glands. They're actually 2 distinct tissues rolled into one. You've got the outer adrenal cortex, pumping out corticoids, like cortisol to suppress inflammation, and aldosterone to manage your blood pressure. But inside that, you have the adrenal medulla. And the medulla is built for pure, unadulterated survival.
When you're stressed, the medulla instantly dumps catecholamines, adrenaline and noradrenaline, right into your blood. Boom, your alertness spikes, your pupils dilate, you start sweating, your heartbeat accelerates like crazy to pump more blood, and your body triggers massive glycogen breakdown to flood your system with glucose for instant energy. This is your body's ultimate fight or flight response.
Of course, all that glucose needs managing, bringing us to the pancreas, specifically the islets of Langerhans. Here, 2 cells fight a constant tug-of-war for your blood sugar homeostasis. Alpha cells secrete glucagon, pushing blood sugar up by breaking down liver glycogen. Beta cells secrete insulin, pushing blood sugar down by driving it into your cells. When this delicate balance breaks down, say from prolonged high blood sugar, you get diabetes mellitus, where glucose literally spills into the urine along with harmful ketone bodies.
Section 5. Reproduction and bonus messengers. Let's head down to the lowest regions on our tour and check out some organs that secretly moonlight as part of the endocrine fleet.
The gonads do massive double duty. They're sex organs, sure, but they are absolutely vital endocrine glands. In males, interstitial latex cells in the testes pump out androgens, mainly testosterone, driving spermatogenesis, libido, and male secondary sex traits. In females, the ovaries produce estrogen from growing follicles to drive female traits. And after ovulation, that ruptured follicle becomes the corpus luteum, secreting progesterone to actively support and maintain a pregnancy.
But wait, the chemical fleet doesn't stop at dedicated glands. Even organs you wouldn't expect are secretly in on the action. The wall of your heart secretes ANF to lower your blood pressure. Your kidneys release erythropoietin to trigger the creation of brand new red blood cells. Even your GI tract secretes a whole cocktail of hormones, like gastrin and secretin, to perfectly time the release of your digestive juices. This chemical fleet operates in literally every corner of your body.
Section 6. How hormones actually work. We've met the fleet, but how do they actually hand off their orders to a cell? Let's bring this command center narrative to its functional conclusion.
Let's move to and see how this builds into actual cellular action. Hormones can't just shout at a cell from the bloodstream, they have to physically bind to highly specific protein receptors. Protein and peptide hormones mostly use membrane-bound receptors on the cell's surface. They don't even go inside. They just trigger a second messenger inside the cell, like cyclic AMP. But steroid and thyroid hormones? Totally different game. They use intracellular receptors. They slip right through the cell wall, waltz straight into the nucleus, and directly interact with your genome to regulate gene expression.
Regardless of where the receptor lives, the whole process follows 4 beautiful steps, acting like a molecular lock and key. Step 1, the hormone locates and binds to its specific target receptor. Step 2, they fuse together to form a hormone receptor complex. Step 3, this physical union sets off a cascade of biochemical changes inside the target tissue. And step 4, your cellular metabolism shifts, and boom, the final physiological response is achieved. Which leaves us with one final mind-bending thought. We've just explored how trace amounts of chemicals flowing through your blood dictate when you sleep, how fast your heart beats in a crisis, how you digest your lunch, and how you grow. It's an incredibly vast, invisible command center running the show right under your nose. So if a single microscopic molecule can instantly change your heart rate, metabolism, and even your mood, who is really in control? Definitely something to think about.
Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep marveling at the incredible science inside you.